What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at the earth signs and the astrological element of earth. So the signs that fit into this are Taurus as its fixed sign, Virgo as the mutable sign, and Capricorn as the cardinal sign. And it rules the 2nd, 6th and 10th houses, I believe. That's where the signs fall anyway. I believe that's correct. The link that'll be down below says the 7th house is the 7th house is the one that has Libra in it. I don't understand. Anyway, but I believe it's the 2nd, 6th and 10th house because that's where those signs fall. All of the metaphors you can think of to do with earth are true for these signs. They are, the salt of the earth. They are, they've got their feet on the ground. All those sorts of things. If you have earth, and like if you have an earth sign in your zodiac, depending on where it lies in that particular regard, you will be quite practical, quite grounded, as well as very dependable. You probably won't take huge risks in that particular area. So for instance, in Venus, for instance, which is sort of the planet that rules sort of how you love, you're not likely to take big risks as far as love's concerned. If you have an earth sign as your Venus sign, just as an example. Rather, you would much prefer to know that something's going to be, a sure thing. You like the solid ground in those situations. And much like the element of earth itself is used as a building block in nature, we literally make bricks out of clay and mud. So too are the earth signs, the builders of the zodiac. To earth signs, creation is a tangible proposition. Creation isn't something like how else can I put this? They don't like dealing with concepts, so they're not going to be something that does, for instance, theoretical physics. They would like to rather apply it to something and make it tangible, so that you can actually show someone how the thing works. In the same way, they would like to make the book rather than sort of create the story that exists in someone's head. More often than not, that's not to say that an earth sign can't write a book. Of course they can. But they just like dealing more with the tangibility of things. Whether it's building jobs at home or any of those other ones that I said, or it could even be, doing interior decorating and dealing with sort of the internal spaces rather than external spaces. If they can touch it, they want to work with it, basically. So those are the sort of the careers that they are more comfortable with, as well as sort of acquisition of possessions. earth signs are all about the material plane and solid things that they can surround themselves with. If you are influenced by this element, you will probably feel best once you have acclimated a number of worldly possessions, even if those... this isn't to say that you are a hoarder, however, out of the zodiac, you are more prone to that. But it does mean that you might, have a big... like you might have a whole heap of photo albums on a shelf from, going to, like traveling to different places or whatever. Souvenirs are kind of like your best friend, as well as, like, if you take photos, you can then make a photo album and have that as like the memory of the trip, sort of thing. That's sort of where you guys sit. Where did I get up to? I'm gonna prop this up because it's difficult to read at that angle. But yeah, as I said, it isn't saying that you are a hoarder. However, the risk inherent in being an earth sign is that you can become quite greedy and quite materialistic. You definitely have a zest for collecting. That's kind of obvious. The element of earth also confers a sense of duty, responsibility, and reliability to those in its sphere. And they are therefore the people that you can count on to be there for you when you need them. Those influenced by earth also tend towards caution and conservatism in both desire and approach. That said, they are usually quite sensual, certainly in that they appreciate a good meal and fine wine better than anyone else. The very logical mind of an earth signer is always appreciated, because they they're not there trying to dream up a new world. They're not there being optimistic. They're not being pessimistic. They're quite realistic, and so they will always approach things with a very realistic, like, this is the thing, this is how logic works, that's how it's probably going to pan out, sort of a thing. In keeping with their measured approach, they will also display considerable recuperative powers. On the flip side of things, however, those supported by Earth may be so caught up in their objectives that they might overlook feelings of others, which is kind of funny because the other sign with its polarity is water signs, which look after emotions, so they can kind of be caught in their own world a little bit as well. But yeah, so within the big picture, Earth signers will be more concerned with the finish line, with the destination, the tangible thing at the end, rather than the journey itself. These are the guys that take the life is a journey, not a destination sort of thing. That's the hardest lesson to learn. But on all, dependable, practical, conservative, yet fairly materialistic. However, they do have their feet on the ground and their eye on the prize. If we're going to break it down sign by sign, when it wants to actually take me to the part I want. Okay, so Taurens are the artists of the zodiac. They have an innate sense of beauty, and sensuality that allows them to sort of manifest their dreams, and they can then use that to inspire others to do the same. On a good day, they are persistent, hardworking, reliable, and quite stable. On a bad day, they can be indulgent, they can be lazy, they can be possessive, they can be jealous, they can be controlling. Bullheaded fits nicely on a bad day, considering their sign's animal. They are, however, one of the most loyal zodiac signs out there because they will never waver in their affections, although they might flirt a little with others for extra attention. One of my friends is a Taurus, and I can attest to the loyalty. They 100% are a ride or die bitch. Virgos, my moon sign, represent the analytical minds of the zodiac. They are, as I said before, the mutable sign, and so they're known to be quite logical, quite practical, sensible, reasonable, all things that I would like to think I am too. And with Virgo as my moon sign, I do have sort of that energy. It is also, as we've sort of previously discovered, my Vedic sign is Kanya, which is the Virgo affiliate. So I have this as well in the sidereal zodiac. Virgos take a systematic approach to life. They value truth and justice. And I'm assuming if you live in the US, you probably also value the American way. Good for you, Superman. They use their finely tuned minds to investigate situations and decipher alibis through reason. They will pull your lies apart to discover the truth, essentially. They can be a little obsessive about minute details. But that's only because they are trying to remain knowledgeable. Between this as my moon sign and an air sign, a sign ruled by the mind as my sun sign, is it any surprise I'm a Ravenclaw? Virgos have quite chameleon-like mentalities, which allow them to open to, it sort of leaves them open to change. However, it needs to sort of be a very gradual change. Abrupt change does not go well for them. However, as we will discover soon, the other side of the scales do. But last but not least, for this video is Capricorn, and they are the initiators. So you have artists, analysts, and initiators. Essentially, you can look at Capricorn as all of the things we discussed about the element itself of Earth, and then just put behind that the drive to go from point A to point B as efficiently as possible. And if obstacles come up in their way, they will just plow straight through it. They will work even harder to just plow straight through it and knock that obstacle down. Whereas like a Virgo is a little bit more adaptive, and they can just sort of like flow around it the same way like a river would. And then, Taurens are just stubborn. Once they've set a path, that's the path. Anyway, so Capricorns are known to be quite ambitious and hardworking. Of all the Earth signs, they are the ones that would probably veer more towards being Slytherins. They place an importance on control and status, and they have a rep for being stoic and proud. That's because they like to watch situations unfold from a distance, but they are actually extremely sensitive and reflective deep down. never one to sit by the sidelines. They like to take action and always complete what they begin. And contrary to any astrological slander that you've heard, Capricorns rarely hold a grudge, which I'm quite proud of the fact that my my Neptune and my Uranus are in Capricorn, so my generation doesn't hold a grudge, which is true for me, because like you might be the worst person in the world to me one day, and I'll go to bed, I'll wake up, new day, fresh start, how you going? So yeah, rarely hold a grudge. Alright, very quickly before we finish up, the houses. So Taurus sits in or sort of rules the second house, which is the house of value, and true to the element of earth, this represents material and immaterial things of value. It represents money, any possessions and acquisitions you have. So like I have my tablet, I have my phone, I have my ring light, all of those sorts of possessions and acquisitions. The cultivation of things of value, substance, and it also represents your self-worth. So how much do you value yourself and what you bring to the table? That's the second house. The sixth house is ruled by Virgo. It's the house of health. It sort of rules over routine tasks and duties, any skills or training that you might have, your employment, services that you might perform for other people, your strength and vitality, your wellness, your healthcare, and it also represents courage as well. And then the last but not least is the 10th house, which is Capricorn, house of enterprise. It rules ambitions, motivations, again, your career, but more specifically achievements within your career. It also represents society as a whole and sort of your place in it, as well as government. It's the one that has the sort of father or authority sort of figure in it, notoriety and notoriety, and advantage. So any advantages that you might have. Contrary to that, where's the mother one? Mother one is in the 4th house, which is Cancer. Now the 7th house, since the link below is going to tell you the 7th house, just so we're aware, 7th house is Libra, which is an air sign. We're going to get to that next month. We'll do its video. But it represents, just so you're aware, partnerships, marriage and business matters, diplomacy, agreements, contracts, and those sorts of things. And then equilibrium. It's not really a tangible thing like career achievements, because you can have physical, like on your badge you might say that you've got that particular achievement on your name badge at work, or you might have an award for excellence in your particular field, etc. With things like ambitions and motivations, a lot of people these days are putting their ambitions into vision boards, so you can actually physically manifest those ambitions and things you want. Motivations, you can do a similar thing with your motivation, like it's going to motivate you. Those sorts of things. So there's a way of making those tangible, whereas things like not necessarily going to have a physical thing for that. Diplomacy isn't a physical thing you can touch. A marriage certificate might be, but marriage itself is not, etc. So ignore what it says about the 7th house. It's the 10th house. It's ruled by Capricorn, and it's the house of enterprise. That's all I've got for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are new here, and also ring this notification bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. Again, links will be down below. And yeah, until next time, guys, keep your head screwed up.